G'day folks, for this afternoon's little repair job I'm going to show you what I've done with this 50-inch plasma. I've had it in my spare room for quite some time, and now that I'm cleaning it out and throwing out a lot of old TVs and things, I figured it's worth fixing. And I got the Z sustain fixed. Replaced I think it's a 680 microfarad 35 volt capacitor on the 15 volt VE, and its little associated sort of little green resistor style 1 amp fuse. All the semiconductors and things tested fine, so I found this tiny little fuse hiding in there and replaced that, and Bob's your uncle, it works. Apart from this, I mean, this was a just appliance store freebie. My local appliance guys looked after me for a while there before they closed up shop, and just let me pick up all their old TVs after work, and this is probably the last of them until I find another source, although I don't really have much time for plasma repair anymore. Some of the newer LCDs are pretty good though, so they do show up. Anyway, doesn't owe me anything, I don't care. I mean, didn't spend any money fixing it, but I do want to try and fix that line, because apparently they can be caused by dirty connections or poor connections on the panel. Rarely can a subpixel go bad and actually pull down the whole row, because that's just one row of pixels with subpixels red, green and blue. It's not like a whole column. If this migrated out into a really bright flashing column or black column, then I'd say one of the little chip-on film edge semiconductors has gone bad, and the panel itself's trash, like the thing would just go in the bin. Gut it, put it in the bin. But I'm going to have a quick poke around with this. If it's not fixable, well, there's not much use for it, because even standing back at the other side of the shed, it's quite obvious. I mean, certain colour you can't see it, but as soon as you start showing some lighter colours, it just shows up purple right in the middle. Well, not quite in the middle, but yeah, there you go. That's really obvious. You get a decent background on it, and it yeah, it's not fun. So anyway, let's turn this TV around and get the back cover back off it. So I'll try and fix it. If not, just chuck the thing out. It is a big, heavy, fairly hefty plasma, and they're not really worth keeping anymore. Okay, well, after a bit of poking around, you can actually take these screws out and slide this out a little bit, but all the bottom edge ribbons are bonded directly to that board. There are no ribbon connectors in there like those. So I've reseated these two just to unlock them, pop the ribbon out, slip it back in again, reclamp it after cleaning any dust off the surface of it. Yeah, so the problem's 460mm in from this side here, so it's about here, sort of in line with the main connectors and everything. But if it's actually an edge ribbon problem on the very bottom edge of the panel, well, there's not much I can do about that. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's not very serviceable like the older ones, where this used to be a replaceable board that would just snap in, but in this case it's bonded to the panel and is basically thrown out with the panel when it goes bad. So again, just check everything. This board is possibly known to go bad, but again, you're just firing up the full auto parts cannon by this point. Just buy another one of them and fail, and then what else do you do? I wouldn't go back as far as that, because that doesn't drive individual pixels. That does in conjunction with these boards. But yeah, it's a strange little problem. Reasonably common, unfortunately. That cap and that fuse are what I replaced. The cap went really high resistance and took out the fuse, and the panel just went really dark. So after replacing that and that little green guy down there, job done. Came up just fine. And then I noticed the little vertical line, which is rather unfortunate. Again, this side checked out alright. I didn't even take the board off, I just gave it a bit of a poke around and it was alright. I was getting full voltage and realised there was no VS getting through, and found that little fuse hidden in there, and good as gold. So I do have some good spare boards in that case. I mean, yeah. Anyway, let's turn it back on and see what happens. Okay, so I've done some cable massaging and board massaging while it's on, and no go. It's Either that, or more likely that, even shoving a new piece of PVC, just that yellow Tygon fuel hose. I cut a little piece of new stuff off about that long and actually pushed it down where the faulty ribbon is, and pushing the flat flex ribbon against the board, because it's just an edge bonded ribbon, it's not socketed. No difference at all. It didn't make it worse, but it didn't make it better. So she's pretty much done. This one could probably get the Mott, put a microwave transformer or something even bigger across the panel and fry it. But yeah, that's how you fix the Z sustain, that little cap and the fuse. That cap was visibly blown out and had black spooge coming out the top of it. It was very obvious. Same with the symptoms, the dark, like you could just read the on-screen display, but it was extremely dark, grayscale, washed out, pixelated image. Everything else was fine. I tested the VS and the VA, they were fine. VS was 208.2, VA was 56 on the knocker. Again, be very careful if you work on your own plasma. The voltages and everything coming out of this are extremely dangerous. 208 volts DC will ruin your day. Many of these heat sinks, particularly that one there and that one there, are usually high voltage, like you do not touch them. Same with any heat sinks. Heat sinks in a plasma TV, just don't touch them. Start-up voltage through here can be very high too, so don't even attempt to hot plug or change anything on the go. Shut it down, let it discharge. Even test your VS to ground, because VS is fed by these capacitors, and again there's power factor correction test points there. So get your meter out, a good decent meter, and test the damn thing, because these will take your life in more way than one. It won't be the AC that comes in that kills you, it'll be the DC. That, or if you're really careless, it'll fall on you. Hey, plenty of kids have been killed by falling TVs. It's not uncommon. So yeah, every one of these tested out okay. I did have to remove a couple of them, but yeah, these boards are good. I'm going to keep all these boards, but the panel itself is probably going to end up in the junk bin. It's too big to be used as a security monitor, too power hungry, too hard to watch with the dead pixel line, so this one's trash. Yeah, what can I say? Thanks for watching, and I hope that helps somebody, because that's about the only thing to gain from this exercise, is how to fix your Z sustain if it goes all dark and pixely.